Hi, it's Lady. Welcome back to my channel. Subscribe right now so you will not miss any of my videos. Are you in a relationship? Do you want to be in a relationship? Watch this video and you learn from Connie Durham about what you need to do to have a last and a happier family relationship.
And it make me think about engaged people, because you were talking about the test earlier. And even when they see that they might not be compatible, they just want to be the exception, and they want to try and say, our love is so strong that we're going to make it happen. And, we will prove to everybody that even though we are not compatible, we can still have a healthier family relationship. So now, for those people who now recognize that in their home, there is indeed that incompatibility and they cannot live together. I know that you have that concept of deposit and withdrawal. So how can we still make that happen, even though we see the sign that it might not be successful?
Okay, so we're taking the family backgrounds, bringing those together, and then you're taking, each one has their personal behavior styles. So the next thing is, if you stop and think about, as Lydia said, deposits and withdrawals. First thing we think about is money and how we put that paycheck in the bank. And think about how good you feel when you just put your paycheck in the bank. That bank account number is up high. That's how we like to see it. And then as you pay your bills, that goes a little lower, a little lower, a little lower. I remember one of my oldest son, he had borrowed money, quite a bit of money, and he was having to pay it back. And I always held him accountable for that. And every time that he would make a payment to me, he would go, "You're taking my money," But I would be like, "You borrowed the money and you have to pay me the money back," And so I made him accountable for that. But it is that kind of, so he was kind of making a withdrawal every time he made a payment to me, an emotional withdrawal, because he gave me a hard time. It made me feel bad, but he had to pay the money back, right? So deposits and withdrawals, you can actually think of emotional deposits and withdrawals. So every time you do something for your loved one, you are making a deposit. Sometimes it's just simply sitting and listening, because whenever you listen, you make the person in front of you feel important. So often we get so busy that we try to do 3 things at once. Somebody's talking and we're doing 2 other things. Anybody ever feel like somebody's not listening to them? Okay. So it takes eye contact and to let them know that you're actually paying attention and listening to them. So listening to them, doing something extra for them, maybe bringing them some food home so they don't have to cook. And the other direction for the guys, for the wife to pay attention as he comes in and talk to him, because the kids are always demanding attention too. And so it's thinking about what we can do for each other. And then comes the deposits and the withdrawals. If you're a person and you're always, I call it me-itis. You have me-itis and you're always making withdrawals from the person that you live with. You're always taking, you always need this. You're demanding. Maybe you're loud or you get frustrated or angry. And these are all withdrawals. And so it's just like that bank account. Once you make too many withdrawals, your bank account's going to be empty. And your relationship is going to bounce. Do things still bounce at the bank if you have nothing in there? So it's important to always make more deposits in your relationship than you make withdrawals. And of course, you don't sit around thinking about that. So you just always try to make deposits. And let's face it, when we're doing for other people, even if that's not our natural self to do for others, when we start to do for other people, we feel good about it and we feel good about ourselves. And that kind of raises our self-esteem and definitely raises the probability that your relationship will make it whenever you are a giving person.
And it is so beautifully said that it's better to make more deposit than withdrawal. And I think that it's really the essence of having a healthier family relationship. And that starts by the couple, because then the children can see and they can have example of how to care and how to be kind and have to have act of services, and it is very very important. And just to encourage others to apply that concept of deposit, can you share with us the advantages? What do you see when you work with your client? What do you see that happen at the end? Just to encourage everybody and know that, okay, even though it's difficult at the beginning, but when you put that in place, this is the result that you're going to see.
And going back to the deposits and the withdrawals, that's when we end up making those withdrawals. It's whenever we're stressed and tired and that kind of thing. So it's really important to be aware of your personal behavior. Now, we're always aware of the other person's behavior, right? So, we're like, he does this and he does that, or she does this and she does that. But we can't control what anyone else does. And so it's important to be aware of ourselves and to pay attention to what we do. And for us to act, here's the golden rule, right? For us to act the way we want the other person to act. Something that I had said today whenever I was doing these recordings for this future event coming up, it was respect. And respect is really an important thing in a relationship, because you got to rely on each other. You should be each other's best friend. And respect comes from having self-respect. And so when I can have, whenever I do well, do good, treat people right, I make good choices, I have great self-respect. So when I have self-respect, now I can respect you. And so it just goes round and round. And there's another great analogy that I use with the idea of respect. There's a book out and it's called Love and Respect. And basically it is talking about men and women and how women want to be loved and men want to be respected. Now these days women want to be respected too, but basically women want to be loved and men want to be respected. And it's kind of like a hamster wheel. You see a hamster wheel that goes around and around. That little hamster jumps in that wheel and he's just spinning and spinning and spinning. Well, women want to be loved, but if she doesn't respect him, then he doesn't act loving. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't act loving, well, maybe saying the same thing. He doesn't act loving, she doesn't respect him. And if she doesn't respect him, he doesn't act loving. And it goes round and around and around until somebody stops and says, well, he's not acting very loving, but I'm going to be kind anyway. I'm going to do some things for him anyway. And then maybe he'll come around and he'll be more loving. Mm-hmm. So love and respect, that's another really big one that makes a difference in a relationship. Because everything has to start with you, because you can't control anybody else, right?
Yes, definitely. And it is amazing that to see that when you act when you act nicely towards someone, it changes you. Sometimes we think that, okay, I do that for that person, but beyond the service, it changes also the person that is inside of you. And I want to thank you for sharing those words and also those strategies. So now I encourage all our viewers to put that into action, to deposit a lot and to also withdraw, but to know that it is two ways. And it is essential to have a healthier family relationship, within the couple, but also then it's going to be extended to the children and even beyond. So that's why that it's it's wonderful that it's not going to stay within the family, but it can go also beyond.